Hi everyone, it's Jo here and I love to read. Today I'm going to be doing my October 2020 wrap up. Sorry I've been so sporadic with posting. I don't really have any excuses aside from the fact that I just kind of fell off it, probably because of my reading slump. But I'm back, it's at the forefront of my mind now, posting videos and talking about books, and I'm really excited for the year to be ending and for the new year to be beginning. But enough about that, because there'll be plenty of times to talk about and do like goals that I've finished. I love the goals video. If anything is going to get me back into booktube, it's going to be goals videos. But I'm jumping back in now and I'm enjoying reading again, which has been really fantastic. I'm really happy with myself for getting the motivation up to do my October wrap up. It's like Sunday, the second last Sunday of November. I'm just going to squeeze in that October wrap up before hopefully filming my November wrap up next weekend, and I'm really proud of myself because I remember back when I actually combined my August and September wrap ups, I was really disappointed in myself because I only read one book, I'm pretty sure, in August, and I really wanted to just do a wrap up with one book because I wanted to show everybody out there that sometimes booktubers also just read one book as well. I know it can be really frustrating as someone who doesn't post booktube videos but watches them, to see booktubers reading like 10 plus books per month and thinking, oh my god, like, am I not as dedicated of a reader because I can't read that much? Yes, you are. So I'm here with my October wrap up, and I read one book in October because I was going through my slump, because I was focusing on other things, and that is okay. That is absolutely fine. I had, with most of the books that I read in September, it all started and then DNF. It's like I'd rewired my brain to think that I didn't like reading. So I picked up an old favourite, which is something that is recommended on booktube quite a lot if you're going through a slump, and I'm happy to say that it worked. Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead is something that I read back probably 10 years ago, back when I was 15, even younger than that, so I can't give you an impartial view because it's something that I absolutely loved. And again, I would give it another 4 stars. It was so easy to read. It was just pure fun and enjoyment. But I did have a slightly analysing eye this time when I was looking at it, because I was really curious to see how I would perceive the romantic relationship in this book between the main character Rose and her love interest, which I'm not going to mention because if you haven't read this book, it is a big spoiler. But I'm happy to say that my teenage brain absolutely loved it and found nothing wrong with it, but my 25-year-old mid-20s brain knows that it is problematic. Even though I enjoyed it as a book, it still does have problematic elements, and I'm really glad that I was able to recognize that and enjoy it, but then also be like, still not maybe the best book for teens to be reading, could be worse. I don't know, I don't have kids, so I don't really know how I feel about it yet. I'm going to go into spoiler territory a little bit because it's the only book that I'm going to talk about, and I was going to do a dedicated discussion about the problematic romance, and I filmed it, but I just don't feel confident enough to share my thoughts, so I'm just going to leave it at this wrap up, which is kind of just a review for Vampire Academy. I feel like the pacing was really good. It was really easy to breeze through. I still think that it holds up over time. I don't think that it is something that you can't read now because it's 10 years old. I'm pretty sure you'd still be able to read it for the first time and enjoy it, but I'm not 100% because I am nostalgic with it. I don't know if I have much else to say. I did tab up things because of the problematic romance elements, so I'm going to get into the spoiler territory now because I don't really have anything else to say. So the spoilery aspect of this wrap up is that Rose has a relationship with her mentor Dimitri. So it's like a student-teacher relationship. He is, I think, about 7 years older than her. She is 17, so nearly an adult, depending on what country you're from. My country, Australia, when you're 18, you're an adult, you're legal, you can, date whoever you want, you can drink whatever you want, all that kind of jazz. I know in America you have to be 21. I tabbed up the bits where I felt like I was really curious to see between Rose and her mentor Dimitri as to who started it, so that's what I spent my time tabbing up. And the main thing that I actually noted when I was doing this is that it is Dimitri, I don't know how I want to say picking Rose, but he's the one that should have, as the teacher, realised what was kind of happening between them. Like, they have a bit of a spark where they're doing this sparring session. So Dimitri is her mentor in fighting, and they have this session where they're attacking each other, and then all of a sudden he's on top of her, and they have this spark, and they can tell between each other that maybe if they were a little older or whatever it was that wasn't making it so taboo, they would have kissed. So they had a moment, and Dimitri, as the mentor, as the adult there, should have been like, oh crap, something's happening between us. I need to back off. If I'm insistent on still being her mentor, I just need to completely keep, like, he should have reassigned someone else to her at this point. But if he decided, you know, I'm going to risk it, I can be professional, I'm just not going to do anything, I'm going to totally just talk to her like she's a normal person and not let this thing go between each other. He doesn't do that. Like, he should have done that, but he doesn't. And a couple of pages or chapters later, they actually have, there's this part where he himself is the one, I don't want to say pursue because it's not like he's pursuing her, but he's the one that does something that extends the bond or creates a bond between them, which is what makes Rose infatuated with him. So basically, another training session, Rose comes into her session with bruised and bloodied hands from all the physical activity that she's doing. So she's training to be a guardian, to which you would, maybe you know this or not if you're watching this, but she's training to be a guardian, so to protect her best friend who's a weaker vampire than she is. And he gives her this salve, and he's like, and you know, he wants to help her hands, but instead of just giving her the salve and being like, here you go, you'll be fine, see you later, gotta run, no time for personal chit chat, he actually stops, he opens the salve and he rubs it into her hands himself, and then starts to proceed to have this really deep conversation with her about like where he grew up and what his mother was like and what she did, and these things that he had with like these daddy issues that he has from his childhood. And he just, like, all this personal stuff he talks to her about, and you just think, dude, no wonder she starts to get infatuated with you and fall for you, because there was this spark between you two that was kind of an accident, and then you have honed in your relationship. Like, he's just, I don't know, he, I guess, was a bit naive in thinking that she wasn't going to like him. I don't really know, but he just wasn't thinking, and it was just really interesting to read it from my perspective now as an adult and someone that kind of went through a similar sort of thing but not with a mentor. I'm glad that my brain has developed enough over the past 10 years to actually recognize the problematic elements in this while still enjoying it. So I guess if you're giving this to a teen, maybe highlight the fact that the relationship is not fair and that they're not on even grounds, because it's not, like, it's kind of touched on a little bit in here where he's like, you know, I'm your teacher, this shouldn't be happening, but they don't really mention that it's an abuse in power and that the relationship isn't even, and that's why, like, it's a bad thing. They don't really mention why it's bad, just that it's bad, so that doesn't kind of, yeah, work. But anyways, I still really enjoyed this, and I'm going to be rereading the rest of the series over the coming years, and I had a really great time, and I'm so glad that it took me out of my slump. So that's everything for my wrap up this month. Thanks so much for watching. How did you go? Did you read any books this month? You probably read more than me. What was your favourite? I will see you guys again next time soon. Bye!